Since the beginning of the AU Athletics Hall of Fame, 103 inductees and 3 teams have been recognized for their impact on Anderson University and its athletic department. These members of the Hall of Fame have been champions on and off the field and worked to put our athletics department on the map locally and nationally. Today we add 4 more members to this prestigious group, honor Heritage-era women athletes, and recognize an outstanding team with the mission of bringing to light their accomplishments both on the playing field and in life. Today's first inductee is Ms. Jennifer Ferguson. Jennifer becomes the 3rd women's soccer player to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. A native of Pendleton, Indiana, Ferguson arrived on the AU campus the fall of 2001. A 3-time HCAC All-Conference honoree, she is the program's all-time leader in game-winning goals with 15, 8 more than the closest Raven. Ferguson is 2nd in career goals with 50 and remains 2nd all-time in career points, points per game, and goals per game. Her 77 games started and 6,783 minutes played are both career records. Ferguson still holds single-season records for goals, 20, game-winning goals, 7, shots attempted, and points. The 5 goals she scored in a single contest her senior year remains the record for most goals in a game. Head soccer coach Scott Fridley said of Ferguson, "Jen is a great athlete that I was fortunate to coach for 4 years. She still plays competitively in Chicago. Jen was part of my first freshman class that took us to the conference championship in her first year. She had an uncanny art of a driven ball from the width of the field, beating keepers time after time. Jen was a great teammate and worked to be better every day. I never had to ask her to give more as she was already doing that. She was a great leader and was looked up to by her teammates." A tenacious outside midfielder, teams did not look forward to defending her or her shot. It is great to see her become part of the AU Hall of Fame as she deserves it without reservation. I am so fortunate that I was able to coach her, so proud. On a side note, we appreciate her artistic side of things as she's responsible for our stadium renderings for the current building project, as well as the Anderson Soccer Camp logo. She is truly talented. So proud of you, Jennifer, and thank you for what you have meant to this soccer program. After earning a bachelor's degree in graphic design from AU, Ferguson earned a master's in creative writing from Roehampton University in London, England, where she played semi-professional soccer with the Fulham Ladies. Jennifer currently resides in Chicago, Illinois, and is self-employed as a creative director. Ladies and gentlemen, the 104th member of the Anderson Athletic Hall of Fame, Miss Jennifer Ferguson. Our next inductee is Mr. Alfred Jones. Al becomes the 3rd men's soccer athlete to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. A native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Jones arrived on the Anderson campus the fall of 1994 and competed 4 seasons for the Ravens men's soccer program. A standout during the early years of the program, Alfred was a 3-time All-Conference selection, 3-time team MVP, and twice a team captain. He is the men's soccer program's all-time leader for intercepts with 222. The former goalkeeper is also the program's all-time leader in shutouts, 18, and saves, 444. During his 4-year career, Jones played in 66 games, including 63 starts, and played 5,584 minutes for the Ravens. Longtime soccer coach Scott Fridley shared, "So many things to say about Alfred, never a dull moment. To date, the top goalkeeper AU has ever had with a passion to keep the ball out of his net. A 6'4" presence in the net, he was playing dominating and kept us in many games. He was tough to get around. To date, he's the only 3-year all-conference keeper in the AU program. Alfred was here in the early years of our program and helped establish a solid defense and a long run of all-conference goalkeepers. He set the standard for which all others are compared. One of the things that makes me appreciate Alfred the most was his senior year. He never missed training, and he played a full schedule with 2 sprained ankles that looked like black and blue grapefruits. I so appreciate him for fighting through those season-long injuries, and the opponents never knew it. I'm so proud of your journey, Alfred, and thank you for what you have meant to the soccer program." Alfred and his wife Lindy have 3 children and reside in Chalfont, Pennsylvania, where he is employed by Commercial Flooring Systems. Ladies and gentlemen, the 105th member of the Anderson Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Alfred Jones. Our next inductee is Mr. Jeff Howard. Jeff becomes the 22nd basketball athlete to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Howard, a native of Anderson, arrived on AU's campus the fall of 1981, where he competed 4 seasons for AU Hall of Fame coach Barrett Bates. Howard, a team captain, was named National Christian College Athletic Association All-American for the 1985-86 season. Jeff was an all-district, all-conference performer and team MVP for the 1984 and 85 and 1985 and 86 seasons. Howard ranks number 6 on the school's all-time scoring list with 1,615 points. He scored 635 points, tied for 4th most in a season during the 1985 and 86 campaign, averaging 21.2 points for the season. Coach Bates shared, "Jeff was a competitor. He did not like to lose, and he was not above telling his teammates to not be satisfied with half-hearted effort. He wanted to win every game he played in, whether it be practice or a contest. At 6'3", he was a very good rebounder. He was tough to guard and worked hard on his defense. Over the years, Jeff has developed a good basketball mind in his coaching and ability to evaluate players." Since leaving AU in 1986, Howard has worked with youth to achieve their goals in both athletics and academics, spending the past 27 years coaching basketball from the elementary to college level, while also playing key roles in after-school programs and school recreation-based programs. Jeff, his wife Debbie, and daughter Hope reside in Anderson. Jeff teaches in the Muncie Community School System. Ladies and gentlemen, the 106th member of the Anderson Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Jeff Howard. Our next inductee is Mr. Tim Fox. Tim becomes the 21st men's track and field athlete to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Fox, a native of Peoria, Illinois, arrived on the Anderson campus in the fall of 1978, where he competed for the Ravens' legendary coach and Hall of Fame member, Larry Maddox. A 3-time All-American, Fox earned indoor All-America honors in 1979 by finishing 6th in the nation and followed it up with a 4th-place finish in 1980. Fox was ranked in the top 4 among all NAIA high jumpers in the spring of 1982 and was named a track and field academic All-American. He is a 3-time All-American, 4-time District 21 champion in the high jump, and earned all-conference honors twice. Former head coach Larry Maddox shared, "There are many positive comments I could make concerning Tim Fox. He enjoyed life as a student athlete and was also ready for competition, as well as working hard in preparation for that competition. One of my memories of Tim was seeing him carry, by himself, one of the high jump pads to the track for fall practice while I was in cross-country practice. Thanks for the good times, Tim." Prior to becoming a Spanish professor at AU in 1998, Fox taught Spanish at Goshen College for a year, followed by 8 years at Manchester University. Fox was an assistant coach to Larry Maddox from 1985 until 1988 at Anderson, winning 3 conference championships. While at Manchester, he was an assistant coach during a successful run for the Spartans track program. Tim and his wife Melba live in Muncie and have 2 sons. Ladies and gentlemen, the 107th member of the Anderson Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Tim Fox. Our next honorees are athletes from the 1975 to 1979 heritage era of Anderson women's athletics. The Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes these women for outstanding commitment and dedication. Following the passage of Title IX in 1972, women's athletics began to grow both nationally and on the Anderson campus. In the mid-1970s, women's tennis, women's basketball, and volleyball launched into competition versus other colleges and universities as an affiliate of the Indiana Women's Intercollegiate Sports Organization. Softball, gymnastics, and women's track and field would be added in the late 70s. Highlights in those early years included the 1976 season, when tennis had an 8-1 overall record, while volleyball posted a 15-5 finish. A notable victory in women's basketball was a 1-point victory over Butler during the 1977 season. The AU Athletic Department and its current 10 women's sport programs are grateful to these women athletes for their perseverance during the formidable years of intercollegiate competition. Ladies and gentlemen, representatives from the 1975 to 1979 Heritage Era women's athletics. Our final honorees are members of the 1993 football team. The Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes this team for outstanding athletic achievement. The 1993 Raven football squad, led by head coach Mike Manley, made school history by becoming AU's first ever regular season undefeated team since football's inception at Anderson in 1947. To go along with their perfect 10-0 season, the Ravens captured the ICAC conference crown for the first time, along with receiving a first ever NCAA D3 playoff invitation. The 1993 squad had 9 all-conference players: Todd Sissel, Chris Conkling, Thomas Lee, Rod Martin, Chad Montgomery, Marco Musgrove, David Preston, Phil Tyler, and Brian Wicker, as well as the ICAC Offensive Player of the Year, Thomas Lee, and the ICAC Defensive Player of the Year, Phil Tyler. 3 Ravens earned NCAA honorable mention honors: Chris Conklin, Thomas Lee, and Phil Tyler. AU football program season records still held by the 1993 squad include rushing yards with 2,534, rushing touchdowns with 34, and pass completion percentage at 66.2%. Individual season records continue to be held by Thomas Lee with 20 rushing touchdowns and Chris Conkling, who completed 66.2% of his passes, as well as gaining 8.25 total yards per play. Today also serves as an occasion to remember those players, coaches, and team personnel who have passed away. Players include Tal Kirkwood and Chris Chambers. Assistant coaches are Jerry Clark, Fred Wagner, and Galen Smith. And the team doctor, Dr. Stephen Hampton. Ladies and gentlemen, today's final honorees, the 1993 football team.
Thank you so much for remembering my dad, Jerry Clark. I know he was so proud of this team that went from 0-15 to 15-0. Him and my mom loved Anderson. They loved the fact that being at Anderson, they could share their faith openly as they coached. My mom, I know, was in it as much as my dad, because I can tell by the pictures. And every time they talked, everything was just, they enjoyed being there so much, and just enjoyed their time at Anderson. I really appreciate that you're allowing us to do this, and my dad would love to be there. I know he would love to be there in the flesh, but I know my mom and dad are both there in the spirit. They love you. They loved you all, and they had so much fun, and they were just so proud of how far the team came in those 5 years that they got to spend with them. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the rest of the team for this great honor, and have a wonderful night.